Hello, welcome back to the channel. Right, before I get into this, as you may or may not know, the Prince video I did that got blocked, that I mentioned in my last video about Bruce Lee, I won the appeal. It's back up on the channel. So I'm really pleased about that. So it does go to show you what I am doing is fair use, doing reviews on albums. But I don't necessarily think it's YouTube either now. I think it's the bots. They've got these, I don't know, algorithms, bots, they pick up any music and just block it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, really pleased about that. So that, I'll put that, if that still works, I don't know. But I'll drop a link to that down below, or just look on my channel. It's on there. It's on there. Around the World in a Day by Prince. So, well done. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Today, I'm going to give this little beaut a vinyl first play. Pink Floyd's Atom Heart Mother. I haven't had this one long. This is on the back of Ummagumma, isn't it? You know, the transitional period, I call this. Obviously, they're sort of just trying to find themselves after their main songwriter, Syd Barrett, singer-songwriter, was gone. Or left the group, got sacked, went mad. So, yes, so this is the 2016 reissue, remaster on 180 gram heavyweight vinyl, remastered from the original analog tapes by James Guthrie, Joel Plant, and Bernie Grundman. Original UK release date, October 1970. So, October 2nd actually it was. So that means next Friday, Atom Heart Mother turns 50. Mad. Absolutely mad. I hope you're all doing well, people. I'm going to give this an open, but first off, I'm going to try and see if I can save that hype sticker. I've got the vinyl out waiting for it, so let's see how I get on. I don't want to spend too much time doing this. I've torn it already. Stripey. What I should have done was warmed it up. You know the old hairdryer trick? I didn't do that, it was just over there. Come on, baby. Oh, not another tear. Oh, it's... Guys. This is not working out, is it? This really isn't working out. Love the cover on this. Just a plain cow. Apparently, as the old Pink Floyd folklore goes, they really wanted to come away from the whole site. They wanted the most dull, boring cover they could ever come up with. And do you know what? It's funny. It is actually funny. You look through a record store and you'll go for a load of records. This album stands right out because of that very reason. Crazy. Right, I think I'm getting it. I just worried about that bottom bit. Come on. That was torturous. Right, now see if it unfolds from here. Sorry about this, guys. I could have done all this before, couldn't I, really? But there you go. Right, so that's on there. Should we open it? So I was well pleased about that, though. Imagine that. Now the conundrum is, because I really enjoyed it, what I did, I put a little bit of the segment of the music prior to reviewing it. You know, like Barry Norman used to do on film, whatever he used to do. Play a little bit of the film and talk about it. Critique it. Give people a little bit of a clue what you're actually going on about or listening to. Just a sampler. It does come under fair use, but, like I said, the bots. So the problem is, if you do that, which I'm thinking about doing with this, because it is fair use, if you do that, you run the risk of it getting blocked automatically, then you've got to go through the appeal stage. It really is a pain in the arse. like watching me undo these. It's a nice glossy cover though. It is, it's so iconic. You know, some of them album covers that you just... That's nice. Right, let's have a little look. So there you go. The cow on the front, cow on the back with literally nothing on it whatsoever. And then we open it up. Yep, just a load of cows in a field. Let's have a little look at the record. Obviously this originally was on the Harvest label. So we have got a nice pony lined inner, but this is on obviously now Pink Floyd records. So that is a chunk. Wowza. Guys, check that out. Atom Heart Mother takes up all side one. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, that's going to be a trip. That is actually going to be a trip. Looks nice, doesn't it? Yes. Oh, what a treat. And I've got the house to myself for the next 4 hours. A little bit of volume, which would be quite nice. So, I suppose before we go and do the play, what does Wikipedia know about Atom Heart Mother? Atom Heart Mother is the 5th studio album by Pink Floyd. It was released by Harvest on the 2nd of October 1970 in the UK and by Capitol on October 10th 1970 in the US. It was recorded at Abbey Road Studios and was the band's first album to reach #1 in the UK, while it reached number 55 in the US, eventually going gold there. Pink Floyd started working on the album after completing their contributions to the soundtrack to the film Zabriskie Point in Rome, which had ended somewhat acrimoniously. Pink Floyd's 5th album remained untitled until the band was debuting some of the material on BBC's Radio 1, and the announcer needed to call it something. Album producer Bob Geeson told Roger Waters to search for a copy of the Evening Standard, a London newspaper, that was lying around in the studio. Waters spotted an article about a pregnant woman with an atomic-powered pacemaker and borrowed its Atom Heart Mother headline. The cover was designed by Hypnosis. Storm Ferguson said he simply drove out to a rural area near Potter's Bar and photographed the first cow he saw. The cow's owner identified her name as Lullabelle 3. It was the first album not to feature the band's name on the cover or contain any photographs of the band anywhere, a trend that would continue on subsequent covers throughout the 1970s and beyond. Looking back on the artwork, Ferguson remembered, "I think the cow represents, in terms of Pink Floyd, part of their humour, which I think is often underestimated or just unwritten about." Stanley Kubrick wanted to use the album's title track in A Clockwork Orange, but the group refused permission, primarily because Kubrick was unsure of exactly what piece of music he wanted and what he wanted to do with them. In retrospect, Waters said, maybe it's just as well it wasn't used after all. Nevertheless, the album is visible behind the counter in the record store scene of the film, along with the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour, The Who's Tommy, and Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey soundtrack. Talking to Stanley Kubrick, apparently he got his own back on Roger Waters. Roger Waters wanted to use a little clip from 2001 A Space Odyssey on his album Amused to Death. Predominantly the HAL 9000's sort of like death monologue, you know, the Daisy, Daisy. but Kubrick said no. And he did say the reason was he didn't want a load of people to start sampling it after that. But a lot of people think it's because they wouldn't let him use Atom Heart Mother in A Clockwork Orange. Who knows? But yeah, quite interesting fact. Right. Shall we get it on the Riga? Come on in. That was a trip, I've got to admit. It sounded fantastic. There was a slight warp to the record though, which I think these days is totally unacceptable. But the actual thing played beautifully. It sounded really, really nice. Wow. Anyway, right, let's get on with the tracks. So, track one, the only track on side one, Atom Heart Mother. The Atom Heart Mother suite takes up all of side one, and it is split into 6 parts individually named. There are loads of theories about what this song is about, but according to Pink Floyd themselves, the song was a kind of a joke, like a non-existent Western. Add Ron Geeson's orchestration, a few jam sessions, sprinkle a little bit on top, and voila, you have the Atom Heart Mother suite. It sounds like a Connolly band, you know, like all the brass instruments started off. As it starts, you know, comes in quite slowly, as you expect. Like I said, this is on the back of Amagama, but I think this one's I prefer this album personally. I mean, it's got Grantchester Meadows. There's a few great songs on Amagama, but to me, as a listening experience, I'd much prefer listening to this album, whether it was a joke or not. But what I really love about this song, it goes off on a tangent. You got war going on, you got horses riding, guns firing, motorbikes riding your past. You're right in there. The imagery in your head is amazing. But what does me is the build-up. Does it straight away at the beginning. About a minute and a half into it, you got all these brass instruments, and then Floyd coming with that, dun, 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 you know, the riff. And you just think, yes, I'm in Floyd land. There's some steel guitar going on in this song. There's so much you could say, and it sort of takes you on a full circle. You got pagan chanting going on that to me has flavours of, I don't know, Game of Thrones, The Exorcist. It's just that pagan, it's kind of evilly, but I don't know. Wonderful. Track one, side one, Atom Heart Mother is a blinder, whether it was a joke song by Floyd or not. I love it. Right, so then we flip over to side two, and it starts off with Roger Waters' beautiful If. This song is so well crafted, so gentle, you can hear Roger Waters breathing as he's singing through the song, so it kind of makes the song feel really personal. And if I was a good man, I'd talk to you more often than I do. I do wonder if he's talking about Syd Barrett on this particular song. I'm not entirely sure. It's a beautiful song, dreamy. It's very reminiscent of Grantchester Meadows from Amagama, the Roger Waters song. And if I go insane, will you still let me join in with your game? Maybe about Syd Barrett. I love the lyric, understand the spaces between friends. I don't know, it could be about someone, a friend, and he's overstepped his mark. Don't know, there's so many ways you can interpret this song. Subjective, but an absolute gem by Roger Waters. I love that song. Track two, Summer 68, the Richard Wright song. This is lovely. I love the way it starts off with that sort of like dreamy piano, and Roger Waters' bass sounded so good. Sounded so good on this as it comes in. It's parts of it's got reminiscence of Paintbox from the album Relics. And I think Rick Wright is sort of like, he's got a woman who's attached onto him. Obviously he's a star coming up, etc., etc., and he wants to communicate. How does she feel? But she's just, you know, there's no substance there, so he gets bored with her pretty quickly. I think so. I think that's what it's about. It's another great Pink Floyd song. Some of the keyboards are amazing on this. The solos are beautiful. And I think Richard Wright was, they was all still trying to find themselves after the Syd Barrett's departure. So I really like Richard Wright's way. The way he sings and the way he does his songs they are very Barrett influenced. You can kind of tell. But it's a beautiful sounding record. And like I said, Roger Waters' his bass at the beginning. Gorgeous. Track 3, Fat Old Son. I love Fat Old Son. Although some people criticise that they've got, this is quite a laid back, lazy song, a little bit like If, and on an album of only 5 songs. But I actually like Gilmour's contribution to the album. I think it's a beautiful song, perhaps best described as a pastoral hymn of praise to the countryside, as were several earlier Pink Floyd songs, like I said, Grantchester Meadows from Ummagumma, Green is the Colour from More, and the bells at the beginning of Fat Old Son were used again years later on High Hopes on the Division Bell. Yeah. Lovely song. Very lazy, laid back, like I said, it just paints a beautiful picture. Dave Gilmour, I mean, I really like it, but I can see the argument, you know, 2 of them sort of songs on such a limit. Well, then again. And finally, track 4, Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast. This is the Nick Mason piece, but it's credited to everyone. This features Floyd's then roadie, Alan Sykes, talking about breakfast while Pink Floyd play in the background. There's 3 pieces to this. You've got Rise and Shine, Sunny Side Up, and Morning Glory. And the song is very, very trippy. It starts off with a little drip, and you can hear it throughout, you know, ends the song as well with the drip going. You can hear breakfast being fried up, pans, matches being lit. The song's all over the place. But it does create some amazing imagery. It really, really does. I really like it. These songs like Atom Heart Mother and Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast, they're pottering songs, if you ask me. You can play them, and whether you're doing a bit of tidying up, I don't know, it feels right. It just takes you somewhere. But the record sounded wonderful. The remastering by Bernie Grundman and the guys, the vinyl sounded great. A little bit disappointed about the slight wobble. No one wants to see their needle jumping up and down like Surfing USA. But the record sounded fab. So yeah, that was it. Atom Heart Mother finally played. Well, I say finally, I haven't had it that long. I've actually got the More soundtrack still sealed. I need to do that. And there's some more albums I need to get of Floyd, but the collection's slowly getting there. I mean, I've had them on album before, and I've got them all on CD, etc. But the vinyl collection's slowly getting there. Right, guys, let me know what you thought of the video. What do you think of Atom Heart Mother? Have you got a particular favourite track on here? I mean, I think it has to probably be Side 1. It's just so epic, even though Floyd reckons it's a joke song. And If's pretty, well, they're all bloody marvellous, let's be honest. I really enjoyed that last track. Yeah, let me know what you think of Atom Heart Mother in the comments below. What do you think about turning 50 next week? Amazing. All the good albums are now, though, let's be honest. They are. Yeah. So if you like this sort of video, guys, give it a thumbs up, a like, and all them wonderful things. And if you ain't subscribed to the channel, why? Right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave ya, but I'll be back with another ramble real soon. Have a great weekend, guys.